Abby of Abigail's Pet Services here. So I thought I would do a video about nighttime. So I don't know whether some of you know, but I'm now a Tails expert. So Tails.com, the dog food company, and they've had quite a few questions about nighttime routines, and clients and people who interact with me on a daily, weekly basis also ask me about nighttime. So I thought I'd do a video incorporating both. So there's a lot of conflicting ideas regarding nighttime, especially with puppies. So this does apply to adolescent, mature dogs, rescue dogs, but we are focusing on puppies here because that's usually the owners of puppies are the ones that need more help, more guidance regarding nighttime, because you're establishing a routine. But by routine, I personally don't think it's a good idea to have a set time for anything to do with dogs, unless you are actually going to be able to do that set time all the time. Otherwise you're going to make a rod for your own back, as it were, you know, like with walking, feeding times, getting up, going to bed, especially getting up. They are habitual creatures, but they don't need set habits all the time. They'll understand what's happening and kind of read your body language just to know what's going on. But as long as there isn't loads of excitement and mania around those things, that's perfectly fine. My girls actually now... They will take themselves to bed, curl up on their bed after about 9:30 if we're not in bed. Sometimes we are in bed by that time. We have to get up early and things. Or, you know, we just want to go to bed early. But yes, my girls will usually take themselves to bed 9:30, 10. But that doesn't mean that I'm kind of ruled by them. So when I do decide to go to bed, I always let them out, go to the toilet, pop them back in. They get a little treat. That's just become a habit. You don't have to do that, but again, if you're going to do a habit, you have to keep up with it. Otherwise they're like, dude, where's my treat? And I don't treat them often unless I'm training, so I don't just give them random treats. Nothing against people that do that, but I don't do that. So they get a little treat at night, and by that I mean, like, well, now it's Tails treats, and they really like the lamb ones, but which are technically labelled Xena's, but you know, she shares with her sister. Now, I don't have to get up in the middle of the night. They're not puppies, unless there's been a big disturbance, but even then, I will say thank you. So the thank you method, I have a video on here. If you search excessive barking thank you method, there is a video about that, and that helps daytime, nighttime as well. But I will just literally project my voice downstairs, because they sleep in the kitchen. If I hear a disturbance, and usually it will be Nellie that'll alert me. She's a very good alert dog. I'll say thank you. And if she's not worried, if the disturbance isn't going on, and it's, you know, it's fair enough to be a bit worried about a loud noise at night, then that'll be it. She'll just go to sleep. If she continues, then I go downstairs to have a look and say thank you again, just like I would in the daytime. Again, you can refer to my video, thank you, excessive barking. So there's that. With puppies, especially until the age of like 4 or 5 months, usually 4 months, you're going to have them wake you up to go to the toilet. Most of the time, not all of them. Some of them, you'll get them from like 3, even 2 months will sleep the right way through, especially if they sleep in your bedroom and on your bed. Now, I personally don't think there's anything wrong with puppies or dogs sleeping in your bedroom, but on your bed, in my view, is not a good idea. Because one, like I said about habits, if someone needs to look after them for you, so pet sitter or family friend or boarding kennels, that's going to be a very different experience for them, because not everyone will want dogs on the bed. Kennels, it's not possible and will be very strange for them, and they won't be used to being left alone in a room, if you see what I mean, to sleep. Not all pet sitters like doing that either. Good to check with your pet sitter, by the way. Part of Abigail's pet services we provide pet sitting as while I'm walking and training, and it's a good thing to check. Because some owners will just presume that you're okay with having dogs on the bed. It's your call, it's completely fine, but still. Yes, and also, you know, it can, not always, but can lead to behavioural issues if you have your dog on your bed. it can make them quite possessive, territorial, limpet-like in regards to attention, needing attention all the time. Not always the case, but it can happen. It's quite common for that. Also, they kind of take over your bed, and if you're living with someone, that's not always ideal, is it? So, yes, if you want them to sleep in your room, nothing wrong with that in my view. Have them on a bed, on their own bed or crate, or you can just have them in the kitchen. It will make it more likely that they'll be more independent and confident and less limpet-like if you have them in a separate room when they're sleeping. It just makes things easier for you, but again, it is your choice. And you may find they do wake you up a little bit more, but as long as you persevere and you're persistent and consistent, and when they wake you up to go to the toilet, may not be to go to the toilet, but if they wake you up halfway through the night or a few hours in or an hour in, get up, take them outside, wait with them for a few minutes if they don't do something straight away, put them back into their bed or crate and go back to bed yourself. No more interaction than just taking them out, putting them back in, because if you give them more attention, so cuddles, very tempting, I know, then they'll be like, oh, well, if I wake them up again, then I'll get these cuddles again. So with some puppies, they'll be like, oh, well, I'm just going to do this all the time. And that will lead to sleepless nights. And that can even continue on into adolescence and with mature dogs, because they'll just learn, oh, this is what happens. Or you may just end up getting so annoyed and frustrated that you're like, oh, just come and sleep in the bedroom, or, oh, that's not working, sleep in the bed, and then you have this. So, yes. Now, another important thing is mornings. So, like I say in all of my videos regarding attention, and when people ask me about attention, I say attention needs to be on your terms. You don't have to be as strict once they understand the boundaries and what is expected of them, so what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable behaviour. But as pups for the first few weeks, rescue dogs first few weeks, or you're introducing this approach, as it were, to a mature or adolescent dog first few weeks, you need to be very strict with yourself. By making sure that you are calling dog over to you to give them attention. That's also reinforcing their recall. You are ignoring them when they're demanding attention from you. Use isolation as a consequence of action if they become too demanding, so they start to nip you or constantly barking at you, because you need to show them a consequence of action. And I don't mean hitting them or pinning them down or anything like that, but isolation they don't like. It's not horrible, it doesn't hurt them, they just don't like it because you're removing them from you or the rest of your family. I refer to that as pack. You don't have to say pack, but it's easy. Pack, squad, team, family, whatever. But yes, and then when you let them back in, ignore them for a bit to let them settle themselves down, whether that be a few seconds or they need a few minutes. And then you can either leave them to it if you're doing stuff, or you can call them over to you. Same in the morning, so especially if a pup is in a crate and is downstairs. So some pups, if you walk downstairs, they'll just patiently wait. Some pups will be so excited, oh my God, let me out my crate, oh, I'm so excited, oh, I really need to pee. They may not really need to pee, but still. But even if they do, and it's been quite a few hours, and you do want to make sure that they don't pee in their crate. You want to encourage calm when you reunite with your dog, whether that be you've left the house, you've gone to bed, you've gone to the toilet, you've gone to the shower, and going to the toilet and having a shower and shutting the kitchen door when you're just making a cup of tea are really good things to get your pup or rescue dog used to being left alone, because they're just a few minutes at a time and then you can extend from there. And things that you do in the day will help your nighttime routine. Again, by routine, I don't mean it has to be a set time or set length every time, but it's just something to work with. So in the mornings, go downstairs. If they're really excited, make a cup of tea. No eye contact, because that is inviting. That's inviting attention, especially for pups. And then when they're calm, then you can open the crate and let them out. Take them straight out, especially if they're a puppy. Xena does not need to go straight out. Xena is my nearly 3-year-old Rotti Corso, and she just has a stretch, goes outside, has a stretch, doesn't pee straight away. Sometimes it'll take her about an hour until she wants to pee, unless we go for a walk. close to when we wake up. Again, that depends. I shuffle it up because it's not a set time. But Nellie will immediately pee as soon as she goes outside. But with pups, take them outside and wait with them until they pee because they will need to pee after being asleep. And yeah. So that's my nighttime and morning routine. But things I want to add to that, so those are the main things. I would, like I said, I repeat myself here, but encourage calm. So when you're wanting to just chill, relax, unwind, watch TV, read a book, listen to some music, chill with your partner, chill with your children, something. Your dog can be and should be part of that, as in like you don't want to have to put the dog in the crate or in a room because they're not letting you relax, but you need to show them what is expected of them. So I personally, especially with young pups, so after their last meal, or whenever you feed them the last meal, or when it gets to about 7 or 8, or when you want to relax, is up to you. Don't have play sessions, don't have training sessions, just encourage calm. You can interact with them, again, on your terms, and just don't excite them. And you'll find as they get older that you can, if you really want to, have a bit of a play session in the evening. But if you realise that makes bedtime a little more difficult, then don't. Refrain from that, just have it in the daytime. And you don't want to overstimulate them when you're getting them used to what is expected of them, especially with pups. I would also say take water up at around 7 or 8, depending what time you're going to bed. Make sure they've got water for a little bit after their last meal, so they can rehydrate. Because now my girls are practically fully grown, and I leave water down because they might occasionally, if it's hot, want a little nip. Or they might want to have a drink in the morning when they get up, but they can hold their bladders. So I'm not saying don't give your dog water. You should provide fresh water for dogs throughout the day, but as puppies, as they're getting used to holding their bladder, I personally would take the water up. If it's really hot, that's a slightly different matter. Fans, open windows, and if you really want to, leave water down. But we don't have to worry about that anymore, do we? Now we're in September. I think today and maybe this coming week will be the last hot days. But yes, encourage calm. Give them attention, that's perfectly fine. Zoomies may happen. Zoomies are fine unless they demand you to be involved. It's not on your terms, so ignore it and isolate if needs be. And then pop them to bed. Like I said, no fuss, no unneeded attention. So just pop them in bed. Now I say night, girls, because I like saying good night, girls. But if that made them get excited, I wouldn't say it, but it doesn't. It will depend on your pup's personality. But just like when you're leaving your dogs, as well as when you're going to bed, if it makes them excited or worried or anxious by you saying goodbye to them, don't say it. So I say usually, don't say it. My girls know what is expected of them. They're very well trained, not robots because they're dogs. So I can say good night. I don't actually say goodbye because it's just become a habit, but I do say good night. And and then encourage calm in the morning. If they're a little too excited, leave them in the crate for a second just to calm down. Or if they're coming and they're zooming all over the place and trying to make a cup of tea, then just ignore them. Biting, by the way. I do have a video about biting. You can look that up here. I'm going to put it in a little bubble. As well as my subscribe bubble. But biting. Ouch, a yelp, ow, something, a noise you wouldn't normally make for something else. So it's just for biting. And then I personally immediately isolate because that is a behaviour that you want to decrease and eliminate as soon as possible. Some people think it's cute. You won't think it's cute if you have a large breed and they do it to you or to somebody else or to a child and they won't necessarily mean it. to be a bite. They're just used to mouthing. Or even a small breed, it can come sharp, especially to other people. It's embarrassing, even if it doesn't hurt, you know. So it's a good idea to show them that that is unwanted behaviour. And by isolate, I don't mean put them in a room and leave them there for hours. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying at least a few minutes, 2 minutes. If they're still very, oh my goodness, get me out of here, get me out, I want attention now, I want to bite you, I want to bite your slipper, leave them in there until they calm down. Shouldn't take more than a few minutes. When they come out, again, I do have it, this is in the video for biting. When they come out, ignore them, let them settle themselves down by themselves, because we're encouraging them to use their impulse control, self-control, and to settle themselves down. And then when you want to, you can call them over to you. I would suggest calling them over to you, so once they have settled down, to reinforce recall, especially for young pups, and to show them that once they are calm, they can get attention, as long as it's on your terms, yeah? So yes, any questions, please pop them on in the comments. You're very welcome to email me. You're welcome to message me via Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So that is my nighttime video for pups, but also for adolescent, mature, and rescue dogs, which encapsulates everything. And yes, speak to you soon.